air conditioning on this 2004 Chevy pickup. So right now I have the vacuum sources turned off because I'm just seeing vacuum. And is the vacuum number rising in microns? And it's not. Now the system came in low on refrigerant. Basically had an ounce or two of refrigerant inside the system. And it's not leaking under vacuum. It's just holding right there and not moving. So now I'm going to turn the vacuum source back on so we could keep on going. I'm going to add refrigerant back in the system. And I mean, no, not refrigerant. I'm going to put some UV leak dye in the system, add it in the low side, and I'm going to perform a pressure test on the system, and I'm going to add the nitrogen right there. So I'll be hooking up the nitrogen, take it off one of the vacuum pumps, hook it up, and I'll pressurize the system. And then I'll look for a vacuum decay, and I'll go around with my ultrasonic leak detector. This is a Chevy, and on these trucks, we all know, usually right back up in this corner up in here, they had a problem with leaks. I don't see no evidence. I do see some paint removed, blistering off. Let me see if I can catch it in the screen right there. Do you see that black paint? Do you see the blister of the paint? I do see that. Now, with it this low, he probably hasn't had air conditioning in a long time, and maybe he went through the rain or the fog. And since it's PAG oil and it's hygroscopic and you can wash it off in water, or he's went through a car wash, the oil stain could have gotten washed off. And so these are notorious for leaking up in this corner. That is the most average problem on this. It's only a single system because it's a pickup. And so yeah, charge it up with nitrogen before refrigerant. Put some UV dye on it, go around with the ultrasonic leak detector. Let's see if I could find that easy leak before actually adding refrigerant in the system. I need to add refrigerant in the system anyway to look for leaks, but it's cool outside. As you can see, the outside ambient temperature is only 66 degrees. So even if I put refrigerant in the system at standing rest temperature on a cold vehicle, 66 PSI is all I would get. So if I had one of those leaks that doesn't leak at low pressure, it doesn't matter if you have refrigerant. If it's not leaking, it's not leaking. And not all leaks leak all the time. Some are pressure dependent, some are temperature, some are vibration dependent. Some leaks only happen when the pressure is rising or the temperature of the metal on the part that is rising. Some happen in the other direction. It won't leak as the pressure goes up. It'll leak as it comes back down. It'll open up and release all the refrigerant. There's leaks like that. Same with cold. Temperature going down, it starts to leak. Temperature go back, the leak stops. A lot of situations that you cannot always find with a refrigerant leak detector or UV dye or even high pressure nitrogen. Sometimes the dye works better. Sometimes the ultrasonic is better. Sometimes the refrigerant leak detector is better. No matter which method you use, or bubbles, just regular bubbles. And sometimes the bubbles, if it doesn't leak and you have your bubble solution over the leak, you'll see no bubbles because it is not leaking at that time that you're testing it. So we're gonna throw some dye in here and throw some nitrogen, and let me do the next step. This is video 2, on to video 3.